Hey Exoticals, it's your girl back with another Exotical rant. You know what I was just thinking about today? You really want to know? I was thinking about DeCentering men and why I don't specifically think DeCentering men will solve all your problems. Let's get right into it. I was thinking about Tia Mowry's situation and how she divorced her husband, and she kind of really made it really public about like how she's having a lot of problems dating and whatnot. And one guy actually, she was eating dinner with him and he took out his grill and put it on the table. And she was just like kind of like recording her journey on that. It's been hard for her. Ladies, this is why I really don't advocate decentering men and telling you guys that will solve all your problems. Sometimes you have to take accountability about things that you have allowed to happen, you know? Especially with Tia Mowry, you knew he wasn't a provider when you got with him. And then like you kind of left like subliminal hints about like him not wanting to pay bills with his money. But like that wasn't a requirement when you got with him. Ladies, stop marrying guys for potential. Stop being with guys for potential. Take accountability what you have accepted when you got with this man. Stop demonizing the man or the men that you're with because you've made bad decisions yourself. I take a lot of accountability in my personal life and professional life. I take accountability for stuff I've done, stuff I regret. I don't try to do the blame game because I know if I allow something, it will happen. Does that make sense? And a lot of women, they think, oh, if I just get rid of this guy, I can replace him with somebody better. A lot of times replacing him is not the problem, or making like him not making you happy anymore is not the problem, because something was missing in you before you met this guy. Your happiness wasn't correct. Your joy wasn't correct. This guy did not cause you all these problems. You allowed him into your space because you felt like you were missing something, and he filled those requirements for a while, but now he no longer feels what that hole inside of yourself, and you're trying to figure out if is it him or like you're like placing blame on everybody instead of looking in the mirror and be like, okay, I allowed this man to not pay bills for so long. I allowed this man to come in my house, and I was Barbara the Builder to him for 50-50, and it was okay with me for 10 years. But now I want to change, and I don't like the fact that he's not willing to budge. Ladies, self-accountability. You allowed this for so long, and men are creatures of habit. So he's confused on why you're mad, because he's like, oh, this is our agreement from jump. Like, so ladies, self-accountability. You allowed this man to be with you without a marriage license. But now you are thinking about, oh, I need to break it off with him. It's been so long, we're not married. But remember, that wasn't a requirement when y'all first got together. When you started engaging in physical contact with this man, that wasn't a requirement of yours before you give out your womb that he marry you and solidify your relationship. So don't rush into like throwing this man away. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes women, like, we make rash decisions, very emotional based decisions. When you're thinking about changing your life and what's that going to look like, you need to take emotion out of it. Logic. Okay, I might have been with this man for 10 years and I don't have a marriage license. We have 5 kids together. Okay. But he's been providing for me for 15 years. So you see, like, you might not want to throw that situation out the door. He's allowed me to be a woman, a stay-at-home mom, and stay in my feminine. And he's never tried to take me out of that position. And he's always cared for me financially, emotionally, and physically. Okay. throwing him away and trying to go pick another guy may not be the solution. Decentering men may not be the solution. You having a heartfelt conversation with this man and bringing logic to the table and telling him your needs, wants, and desires may be the solution. You see that? You see what I'm saying? We as women sometimes are very emotionally driven. And we listen to other women a lot when they're talking about get rid of that man, let's decenter men. And sometimes that may be what you need to do, but sometimes it may not be. Everybody's situation is different. Nobody knows the details of your situation, the totality of your situation. Nobody knows what that guy has been through with you. That guy may have been your rock through very hard situations. That guy has he may not have married you, but he has shown himself proven to go through the ups and downs with you. He has shown himself to be a strong provider, a strong partner, and a strong confidant. So let's not get into the ideology of throwing away our men. Let's get into ideology of being willing to be like, what have I allowed that I no longer want to allow? Let's start taking accountability for our decision making skills and what decisions we have made with this man or allowed. Let's not just get so obsessed with decentering men, we decenter our whole life. Because sometimes you might need that man. Let's just be honest, okay? A lot of us, we like companionship. Us decentering men in every situation and throwing away our men that have stood with us through the ups and downs may not be the best option for us. Us not being obsessed with men may be the best option for us. Us not making decisions solely based on our relationships with men may be the option. You see what I'm saying? I'm not decentering men, but I'm not I'm not making my life surrounded by somebody else. I'm building my life up around me. I'm building my support system up, but I'm focusing on me still. I still want a man. I still want to be in a companionship. I might still want to be a wife. I might still want to be a girlfriend, but I'm not making that my identity. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's not so much this man has done A, B, and C toward me. It's the fact that I'm not allowing myself to be in a position where I'm blaming a man for all the decisions I've made. I'm taking self-accountability. And for a lot of us, that's very hard, especially if we have been in toxic relationships with men and we have never looked ourselves in the mirror. You know that song, Look at the Man in the Mirror by Michael Jackson? Look at the woman in the mirror. Have you made poor decisions and now you need someone to blame? It's okay. We've all been there. We've made poor decisions and now we're looking like, whose fault is it that hurt me? When really, in totality, when we look back, we've hurt ourselves. We haven't been a friend to ourselves. We haven't been a confidant to ourselves. We haven't loved on ourselves. So do you see how that love, that self-love, self-confidence, self-esteem was not there? So we allowed certain things, and now that we're sitting in our decisions, we're upset. It is very hard to sit in your decisions. It's called consequences. And it's very hard for us as women sometimes to sit in those decisions, those consequences that we have allowed year after year after year. Ladies, and I'm not trying to beat up on anybody. I'm definitely not male identified, so I don't want to hear that in the comments because I'm definitely not that. But I do take self-accountability. Hold on, ladies. I do take self-accountability for every decision I've made in my life. I've taken it's accountability for relationships I should have ended a long time ago. I take accountability for decision-making skills that I just lacked when I was younger and I just didn't know about it. And I do make others take accountability for ways they have hurt me. But I don't let that consume my identity. I don't let people's videos about how their experiences with men dictate how I run my life. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't do that. And as exoticals, we have to really build. That's why I really focus on building your mental health, building your decision-making skills up, building your self-esteem up, because everything starts with self. Nobody can make you do anything, especially the times we live in. Most of the time when we're in bad situations, we saw this coming, but we kept going down that journey, even though we saw the consequences that were luring in the shadows that were going to come out. We saw that, but we didn't change anything. We just kept walking down that path. Do you see? Ladies, it's becoming really very toxic feminist agenda on especially us women of color, us exoticals, us mixed race women, us black women. It's been coming like they are really targeting our families, and they've been doing this for a while, but it's at an all-time high now. They're telling us you don't need a man, you can be an independent, strong black woman. I know everybody has heard that. You don't need a man. Let's decenter man. It's his fault for everything that has happened in our life. This guy is toxic. They call any guy toxic for any reason now. So we really have to filter out what we're consuming. And this is not going to be a popular video, I already know, because decentering men is a very popular topic. It's a very clickbait topic. Blame the man for everything. It is. Let's just be honest. And I feel like with Tia, she's an exotical like us. She thought she could find better, and now that she has not found better, she is making like sad videos on IG talking about, I should have, like, it's hard out here. Like, what did you think it was going to be like? Did you think it was going to be paradise? Not having a man in your household, not having a father for your children, not having a husband. He may have not been paying all those bills, but I'm pretty sure he provided other protections for you because you've never been in the streets like you have been in these recent times. I've never seen Tia Mowry make videos with her ass out, but now she's doing it. Like, I've never seen that side of her. She always had a very respectable side of her. I've never seen her making videos the way she's making videos now. And I still have respect for her as a fellow exotical, but I can tell the provision of the husband, the protection have been lifted off of her because that's what she wanted. And now she's in these streets. I can see the difference in her based off her being in a marriage and a relationship, having the covering of a man that's biblical over her, and now that she has disengaged from that and taking that away, I can see the difference in her, and it's not really looking good for her. Her personal image, her professional image is not really looking that too good these days. In my eyes, as a woman, coming from a traditional standpoint that she advocates for Christianity and whatnot, I don't see that translating in some of the videos I've seen on her IG after her divorce. I don't see that. And it's okay. I'm not judging her, but I can just tell she does not have that covering over her anymore. So, I mean, and she's an adult woman. She's free to do what she wants to do. But ladies, just realize once you're in these streets, you're in these streets, okay? You're going to have to deal with a lot of stuff you wouldn't normally have to deal with when you had the covering and protection of a husband. Of even sometimes you have a providing baby daddy. You won't have to deal with certain things when that covering is lifted. You're going to see a different side of people because they know that you are at their will. if that makes sense. And I'm not advocating for staying in toxic relationships. Please do not leave that in the comments, because this video is not about that. I am a very intelligent mixed race women, and I'm giving real-time advice for women that are you may be in emotional distress. You may be trying to figure out stuff for your life. You have, and like all of us, we've made mistakes and are trying to correct those mistakes. So please don't leave in the comments talking about these you're male focused, because I'm not male focused. I'm telling you to do what's best for your situation that you're in. Do not take advice from women that are not married. Women that they're not with a man long term. They've never been in a relationship. They've had a lot of bad relationships. They never experienced the covering of a good man. It's hard to take advice from them because they don't understand the provision and the biblical standpoint of having a husband, or even having a man that is committed to you, covering you, making sure nobody fucks with you. You understand? They don't understand that. And they're telling you from, we out here, we're in the streets, I'm having fun, I'm dating. They're coming from that standpoint. I'm not coming from that standpoint. I'm coming from a standpoint of, I've had good men in my life. I currently have a good man in my life. I know what having covering looks like from a good man. And I know what not having that covering looks like. Okay. And I know that relationships have their ups and downs, but you have to do a pro and con list. Is this man making my life better, or is he making my life worse? Do I get more benefits or more cons? You have to take this as a very logical standpoint, okay? Especially when there are children involved. And I'm not telling you to stay because of the kids. I'm definitely not telling you that. But breaking up your home, sometimes breaking up your home is a rash decision based on emotion. Does that make sense? Sometimes you guys just got pissed off at each other and said some things that you both didn't mean. And dissolving this relationship will not only hurt you, hurt that man, but it's going to hurt your kids. So I'm coming from that. I'm coming from a family perspective, if that makes sense. I'm coming from a woman that I've been there, done that. You know what I'm saying? I've been single before, and I know it's not fun out here. I've worked a 9-to-5 before. I know it sucks. I know you have to deal with a whole bunch of hating ass women that hate you just because you're beautiful and take care of yourself, that want to see your downfall. They want you to be in that bad relationship. They want you to give up your man and your protection to come work with them so they can victimize you. They want you to be out here and you not knowing, oh, dang, my car broke down. What am I going to do? They want you to lack because they've been lacking. They've been out here by themselves. So they want you to experience that so they can listen to your sob stories. Does that make sense? Ladies, do what works best for you. Sometimes certain problems that you're dealing with in a relationship, decentering a guy won't help, but you actually communicating in an effective, non-combative way with the man that you claim you love, and if a man really loves you, because you wouldn't be doing so much for this man if he didn't love you. And if you didn't feel that love and that protection and that provision from that man, you wouldn't be so mad when you guys argue. You wouldn't be you guys know what I'm trying to say. You know if a guy has your back and if he doesn't. And you know if you have his back and if you don't. You already know that in your head. So you don't need another woman. You don't need another video to tell you if somebody got your back. It's a vibe. It's a feeling. It's a gut feeling. You know if that guy has filled in the gaps for you when you've been sick, when your kids have been going through stuff, and they made sure, like, when you couldn't deal with it, they filled in the gaps and dealt with the situation. When you were too tired, he filled in the gaps where you needed it to be. You know what I'm saying? When you just didn't have it in you to do, he did it for you. You know when somebody has your back. So you don't need somebody to tell you, oh, he has your back, or decenter men. That's from that lady's experience. Some women have allowed very toxic situations to infiltrate their life, and now they're talking about men in a very negative light because they've allowed a lot of toxic men in their life. And they have to take accountability for that. It's not just the man that was the problem. It was them that was the problem. It was their self-esteem that was the problem. It was their self-confidence that was the problem. It was their self-value of themselves that was the problem, that would allow somebody, men or women, to come into their life and fuck it up. So let's be honest about those truths, ladies. Self-accountability. We have to be accountable to ourselves. Okay? We cannot play the blame game. We are grown women. We have allowed things to fester for a year, for 2 years, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 to 20 plus years. We cannot blame men for all our problems. And as adult women, we don't need to. As adult women, we can make good decisions today and move ahead. As women that we're alive right now, we have the decision to dictate our future for tomorrow, for next month, for next year. So let's be very eye-opened. Let's be very perspective, and let's literally think about this logically without emotion, about the topic of decentering men, toxic relationships, self-love, self-value. What have we allowed in our life that is no longer serving us? And why did we allow that? That's why I definitely advocate for counseling and whatnot. And I advocate for counseling because sometimes, and I advocate, do you get a male counselor? Because sometimes other women that are single or are in bad marriages or relationships will give you horrible advice. I once had a lady tell me to break up with my boyfriend because one of my family members died and he was a distraction. And that was not good advice. That was definitely not good advice. He had done nothing. He was not the cause of my problems. He was actually helping me navigate a lot of my emotional distress by building my self-esteem up and giving me good advice and actually being there for me, by supporting me financially, physically, and emotionally. So me taking that woman's advice back then, I'm glad I did not take her advice. This man was paying my rent. I doubt she would have done that. You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about, taking women's advice that they offer you very generic advice, but they don't offer you any solutions, real-time solution, monetary solutions, physical solutions. They just tell you, get rid of that guy. Ladies, that may not be the problem. You may be dealing with emotional stress. You may need to go see a therapist. You may need to work on your physical health, your physical fitness, your emotional intelligence. It may be a lot of things that you need to work on that man is not the cause of. Like, my boyfriend at the time was not the cause of my family member dying and me being emotionally distraught. This woman was telling me not to focus on a relationship and focus on myself, and I was focusing on myself. That's why I was seeking therapy, and she was she was just very horrible at it. And I eventually switched to a male counselor that literally told me to keep my boyfriend, that he was a good guy and he was actually helping me, and he was glad that I had somebody that was looking out for me, that was paying my bills when I could not work because I was too emotional and I was in too much of emotional state to actually try to get a job and maintain it. He basically was like, I'm glad somebody's out there looking out for your finances, your emotional health. When you can't get to me, when you can't talk to me, I'm glad you have somebody you can talk to, that is actually looking out for you financially, emotionally, and physically. So you see the kind of advice you get from some women, and then you go to somebody else. You see how that, he was giving me advice that would make sure I was stable even when I couldn't talk to him. And she was giving me advice that was very generic, telling me that guy was my problem, when in general, when I look back at the situation, he didn't cause any of my problems. I already had these problems when I met this man. You see what I'm saying? And he actually was solving my financial problems and my emotional problems of abandonment by always sticking by my side. You see what I'm saying? Like, certain times you need to not take generic advice from women, because that is their advice based on their experience and what they have allowed. So you have to take a grain of salt from these people that are giving you advice about getting rid of your providers, your men in your life. Get rid of them. Girls, it's a hard road out here. It's a long road. And I'm honestly, all the men I've dealt with, especially the men that have been good to me, I'm glad I met these men in my life. I'm glad when I was going through stuff, I had boyfriends that took care of me, sugar daddies that took care of me. I'm glad I have a husband that takes care of me. Like, honestly, my problems, my personal problems that I had going on, I had these problems before I met a lot of these men. I've had toxic boyfriends too, but again, I had to take accountability for allowing that toxicity to be around me. You see what I'm saying? Not negating the fact that they may have caused me additional issues, but I have to take accountability that I allowed that when I saw that toxicity, I allowed it for a while because I was comfortable in that toxicity. You see what I'm saying? You have to take accountability. I had to take accountability. I had to take accountability and move on from those situations and be like, it is what it is. Hold on, girls. I gotta get some water. But ladies, I don't want you to be out here in bad situations that don't serve you, because you're taking generic advice about decentering men, about getting rid of men in your life, for very trivial reasons, or reasons that you may not find trivial. I don't want you to get rid of your providers, for that reason, if that makes sense. You have to take everybody's advice with a grain of salt. Get to know who you're getting advice from as well. I literally had a couple counselors that I had to get rid of because I could not take advice from them. These were divorced women. They were very bitter. They hated men. They would tell me my boyfriends, they would tell me every dude that I was talking to or engaged with, was a problem. When these men weren't my problems, my emotional health was my problem. I was dealing with a lot of issues from my family, from bereavement issues. I was dealing with a lot of grief. I was dealing with issues I've had from childhood. And I had to literally look myself in the mirror and really be like, hey, it's over now. You know what I'm saying? It's over now. You can move on. You don't have to keep dealing with other people's problems that they placed on you as a child. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to deal with it anymore. And I had to really dive into myself and realize, like, I do not have to deal with these problems that people have placed on me from childhood, from being a teenager, from having dealing with family issues. These are not my issues. I'm a beautiful, exotical. I'm a smart, intelligent, mixed race woman. I'm capable of being in a good relationship. I'm capable of getting married. I'm capable of receiving good things from men and from everybody in my life. And I'm worth it. I really had to get to that point in my life where I felt like I was worth it. And I stopped trying to solve other people's problems or take their advice from their perspective when they are not trying to get to where I was trying to get to. I was trying to get to a traditional marriage where I had a provider, a protector, and a man that provided provision in my life. So I could not take advice from women that they were comfortable in their singlehood. They were happy being single. They didn't really like men. Some of them were lesbians and had alternative lifestyles. So I had to get comfortable being my authentic self and not not trying to please these toxic feminists that really did not like me, did not serve my best interests, and had a complete other agenda than what I had. I wanted to be a stay-at-home wife. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. I wanted to be a housewife. I wanted to stay at home and raise my kids. I wanted to have freedom to work when I wanted to work and stay at home when I didn't feel like being worried about the world. I just wanted to be worried about my feminine womanhood, and I wanted to make sure I was healthy, I was stress-free, and that I felt safe. Long story short, ladies, do what's best for you. Don't try to cape for any cause, but cape for yourself. Cape for your happiness. Cape for your safety. Cape for your kids if you have kids. Cape for what is going to best serve your personal situation, and never become an advocate for a cause you don't want to keep, a cause that won't necessarily serve you in longevity as a woman. Always place your womanhood first. This is your girl with Exotical Rants. I hope this helps. I hope you guys comment and tell me what you really have going on. Tell me what you feel about my content. Tell me what is bothering you. What are you working on? And so we can really have true womanhood conversations that not only solve our problems, but get a conversation started where we can have complexities to answers, and we can have an open discussion about anything and everything, and where one answer is not the only right answer. There's several right answers. All right, Exoticals, have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.